Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with the Arena World Championship, second cup of the summer season. Obviously, Europe, we just concluded. Method Black were able to win that one. Now we're heading over to North America. And I'm very excited for these North American games because yesterday we saw the move. Every single series was high-octane action. It was 3-0s, 3-1s, absolute slaughters. Now they're against a team that likes to slow down the pace a little bit, though, and a team that's definitely caused them troubles throughout the spring season. And, I mean, quite frankly, they could also cause some troubles in the summer season. That's going to be Method Orange. So Method Orange against the move is going to be our first series of the day here. And, I mean, it doesn't really get better than that in terms of, you know, the stakes here. This was the grand final at BlizzCon last year. These two teams, both of them have a lot to prove.
I mean, there's no question about it. This matchup's going to be really, really interesting indeed. Like you said, they've gone head-to-head in the past. And yeah, if we can look at the bracket right now in the upper finals, it is going to be the boys going up against Cloud9. And these two teams have been going back and forth throughout the entire spring season. And I'm kind of curious if the boys have figured it out. We saw them run the Shadow Priest Windwalker Restoration Druid yesterday to great success. They were able to beat M2KC. It just seemed like they were warming up in that matchup. They're the highest team on the North American ladder right now, so that's an interesting little tidbit. So obviously playing it at a really high level, and I think finding that composition was going to be a big win for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that could be huge. And the boys in Cloud9, obviously, that's the other side of the story when it comes to North America. Those are the two teams that dominated the spring season, the #1 and #2 seeds. And both of them have made it through to our upper finals, thus far undefeated in the tournament. So we're really set up for a fantastic set of games here when it comes to North America. We will be kicking off with the move versus Method Orange. That's a series that goes back to 2018. Both these teams really need performances here this year because Method Orange, we talked about it a little bit last week. They need to catch the boys if they are to qualify to BlizzCon directly on points. The boys are now stepping up, so that's going to be a difficult task for Method Orange.
Yep, the boys are certainly showing their rise to power here with that new composition last week as well, or sorry, yesterday against the Mew Mew Kitty Cats. I'm interested to see what they bring against Cloud9 later on, but I think the score that we need to settle right now between the Move and Method Orange is a little bit more important. These teams went head-to-head at the BlizzCon finals. Method Orange came out ahead there. Will they still come out ahead here in Summer Cup #2?
Yeah, this is always one of the most voted in polls, guys. Hashtag TM if you think the move's going to win, or hashtag MO if you think Method Orange Sea-Doo's roster will be able to win. Method Orange, on the whole, has had the better of this matchup in the past, but the move have been getting better and better in the summer season. Absurge has been adapting. Let's see what they can pull off here in the blind pick on the ground.
Yeah, Peekaboo was on fire yesterday, and you can actually see the move. They're bringing in some of that versatility. Absurge on the Holy Paladin instead of that Restoration Shaman. This is going to make for an explosive match. Method Orange, they're going to be bringing in their patented Demon Hunter, a Death Knight Restoration Shaman. And I actually feel like this is going to be a really difficult matchup for the move. These are the kind of compositions they've really struggled with when running the Shadow Priest Rogue. I just don't know where their opening is.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how they decide to play it out here. Absturge has been polishing his Paladin's Plate pauldrons for the tournament play. Will it be enough here in tournament #2, or will he falter to Method Orange's patented Demon Hunter Death Knight? This composition has been giving the move trouble for the better part of 6 months now. Do they finally have an answer? This is a composition that they're effectively stealing from Change My Mind with the Paladin variant, as it did prove to be successful for them in Europe.
Yeah, WizK gets interrupted. It's going to be all about Trill, Mez, and Sea-Doo coordinating their interrupts over on WizK. He's getting low. Big damage coming in. How is Absurge going to be able to handle this situation? This is where him playing you know, a class he's not as experienced on could really show a little bit of struggle for Absurge, but he gets backed up. Good leap of faith coming in from WizK. That will deny the Mana Rift, holding on to Absurge's precious mana for as long as possible. Sea-Doo positioned at the pillar, just trying to avoid damage. Big interrupts on WizK. They need to prevent these vampiric touches going out in this matchup. If they can do that, they can really slow down any sort of momentum and pressure the move have.
Smoke bomb attempt on Trill to get his Gladiator's Medallion. Respecting that Vendetta, though, so I think it's more than a fair trade. Holding on to the reverse magic while Sea-Doo sits through crowd control, potentially wants to use that on a different kill attempt from the move. Surprising amount of pressure on Mez and Trill right now, but equally so back at WizK. Absurge needs to clutch out some heals quick. WizK is very low on health. Trill also at the same time. The Paladin adds in quite a bit of extra damage with that Indomitable Justice Azurite trait, enhancing the damage of the Judgment spell from the Paladin. Will it be enough, though, for the move to find victory against a composition that has effectively stomped them out of every competition this year? We're very close to finding out. They are winning on mana currently. I would say that their pressure overall is solid, and for all intents and purposes, I would say that it is working.
Trill getting a little bit low right now. Seadou's definitely going to have to play a bit of catch-up, but it's WizK that's on the back foot. Windshear snuck in there by Seadou. There's no crowd control on Absterge at this point. Mez actually turning his attention. They're making a swap onto Absterge, really trying to test him on that Paladin. What is he going to be able to get done? There's no Avenging Wrath. He doesn't have empowered healing. He gets out of line of sight. One Maledict flies in. Mez is still all over him. If Trill can get there, this could be the Divine Shield easily from Absterge. He's getting low. He doesn't want to throw away the game. What is he going to do? He's dancing with death. Eventually, Divine Shield comes out. Good pressure there by Method Orange. I really like that swap. When Absterge is in a situation where he doesn't have that Avenging Wrath, they swap on him, realizing his healing is limited, and they get out a vital defensive cooldown from the move.
Big push there, I would say, on both sides. No Gliders Medallion on Seadou. Looks like they want to set a swap up on him right now, but they're not even going to dent him. Peekaboo's going to switch targets, go back to supporting WizK. Mana is a bit even now at this point. No significant advantage there. WizK uses Vampiric Embrace. This turns all of his damage into healing. Good timing here because there's not many options in terms of healing cooldowns for the move. I do like that cycling point. If they don't overlap any cooldowns, I do think it's possible for the move to extend this to a period into dampening where they could execute for a kill. They've already come pretty close, even with no dampening whatsoever. Mez is going to be raising that Abomination. WizK instantaneously shackling that Abomination, preventing its damage bonus. Well timed there. They switch to Absterge, but he is able to escape on his steed with that Blessing of Freedom. Peekaboo's going after Seadou. We have seen this strategy from the move time and time again. Peekaboo will pressure the healer while WizK builds pressure on the DPS, and then Peekaboo will bounce to whatever target is softened up the most and try and execute for a kill. In that position, he felt like Mez was going to be the most vulnerable. However, they don't really get any significant cooldowns from Method Orange with that attempt. All they do is continue to burn down Seadou's mana, which is quite impressive that it's even at this point, as Trill, I believe, is running the Mana Rift talent, so you would expect and anticipate that Method Orange would have a mana advantage, but it's a lot closer than I would have expected.
Yeah, there's actually good pressure on Mez as well. Method Orange in a bit of a sticky situation. The move developing some pressure, some momentum, but if Seadou can stabilize Mez, then it's going to be the move that's on the back foot. Absterge's mana is not doing great. Trill has been able to land some mana rifts. Gets gripped into a double Chaos, actually triple Chaos Nova. Absterge now the main focus fire for Mez and Trill. They do manage to force out his Avenging Wrath. Absterge, what are you going to do? Is it going to be the Void Shift? He gets gripped away. Void Shift comes in as well. WizK exchanging his hit points for Absterge's. Now they make an attempt over on the WizK. In the meantime, Seadou's under fire. He's forced to trade out the Astral Shift as well as his Ascendant. Peekaboo just destroying him, but I think Seadou behind the pillar and Ghost Wolf is going to be more than tanky enough to survive Peekaboo.
All right, close calls on both sides, but Absterge is basically tapped at this point. There's not much he can do. WizK's trying to min-max, another shackle instantly on Abomination, blind on Seadou. Seadou's actually sitting through the blind. Peekaboo gets gripped away from the sap, so instead goes for a swap. Seadou going to trinket that stun just to make sure there is no sneaky business there from Peekaboo on that rogue. They have such a huge lead at this point that they just need to cycle through their cooldowns, Darkness, Spearling Totem, and push them over because there's not many options left. Peekaboo hexed. He's not going to be able to help the team as he hops around waiting for that crowd control effect to end. Trill is pushing forward for what could be the last mana rift of the game. Trill moves in on top of Absterge. Not going for the stun just yet. Maybe it's not available, unfortunately. Seadou gets swapped to again. Trill moves over to use the Darkness if he needs to. Peekaboo gets gripped off. Seadou gets dispelled out of the stuns, uses the Ratio to get out of the silence, now lobbing out some Lava Burst, the Earth Elemental adding in some extra punch as well to go after Absterge. Divine Favor, can they dispel it off? No, Absterge sneaks in the heal just in the nick of time, but WizK is still being pressured, and now the move back against the corner with basically nothing left to work with. Have to create a miracle. Where are they going to create that miracle? They're trying to find it on Trill, but I think it's too little too late. Absterge is totally tapped out with Mez marching forward, Seadou moving in. Absterge will ultimately fall here. A valiant effort, but Method Orange again showing dominance over the move.
Yeah, Method Orange, they do have the composition here that just, it seems to always beat the move. This Demon Hunter, Death Knight, and the Restoration Shaman. It's just too tanky. The move, try everything, they try different compositions, but they don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, it just seems like they can't really find the way to win. I mean, when we saw Change My Mind play it, they had the Repentance build and they went for a bit more, Hammer of Justice into Repentance, and they went after, Demon Hunters a little bit more. Potentially that could be an option for them, but it definitely seems like a very difficult matchup to win, just because Peekaboo and the move, they always want to go after the healer, like they're doing right here, and they try to get enough pressure on the healer, usually by just Peekaboo doing it on his own, while WizK is running them down. The problem is, Mez and Trill both have a lot of self-healing to deal with WizK's damage over time effect, and Sea-Doo, he can kind of just chill around in Ghost Wolf for the majority of the time and keep himself up, so there's never really any good openings like that without cooldowns being committed from the move, which just makes it, a situation where they can get some pressure, but then they can't really close out the game afterwards. And of course, on the side of Method Orange, we already know what's happening here. Absterge getting mana rifted. You can see his mana bar is completely tapped out, and eventually the Holy Paladin, being a very cooldown-based healer, just runs out of defensives and goes down, which is pretty much what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially what happened. I was actually talking to Sturgy in my stream like a couple of days ago, and he was saying that they're going to try something different here. They played the Hammer of Justice instead of the Repentance, and then they also played the Short Silence on the Shadow Priest. So they were trying to build pressure with, stun into silence every 30 seconds or so. I think that those two come off with the cooldowns. And then WizK was playing the full crit haste build as opposed to playing the haste Versa we saw from Smexen yesterday. But it just feels like there comes a point in the game where they have a lot of pressure, but then Sturge falls behind. They force his Divine Shield, his mana starts dropping low from the mana rifts, and they lose all momentum, and they run out of fighting power quite early on.
Yeah, I mean, after the Avenging Wrath, it's really easy for Trill and Mez to make a swap over onto Absurge when he's fallen behind, and that's when you really get tested when you're playing that alt healer. It's a lot more difficult and it's to survive those situations where you're being trained down by these melee experts like Trill and Mez. I wouldn't want to go against them if I was on a healer, and I really don't envy Absurge in this position. I mean, it was kind of a well-fought game. There was opportunities for the move to find different kills, but at the end of the day, Method Orange, they always had an answer. It just seemed like everything was kind of stacked in their favor.
Yep, so Method Orange, obviously convincing victory here in game one. The move, I mean, I really want to say that these guys, they had a fantastic Saturday, absolutely incredible, but equally we did predict this, right? We did say, they didn't meet those Death Knight compositions that have been causing them trouble. Is this just a case of they just won't have an answer for this in patch 8.15, do you think, Sid, and they're hoping that 8.2 is better for them? Because, I mean, it's always such a shame. These guys are so good. I don't know how to say in words. Like, these guys are so good at the classes they play, but if they don't have an answer for this, they're not going to make it any further in this tournament. They have to hope 8.2 is better for them.
I think they run the same comp, but they should change the strategy. I don't like the short silence, swapping to the Shaman. Ghost Wolf is too powerful. They have to overextend too long, and then they're just going to lose on attrition, I think, at that point. I much prefer Change My Mind strategy with the Mind Bomb and trying to sap out of the Mind Bomb, even playing maybe the Night Elf Rogue to make sure that you can sap out of Blind with Vanish and then sap out of Mind Bomb with maybe Shadow Melds, something aggressive like this and crowd control oriented, focus down the Demon Hunter. I feel like that is the best strategy overall in this particular matchup, and I'm hoping that we see that employed from the move and not really more of the same after seeing game number one. I really don't think it's going to work for them the way they're playing it.
What does it say to you that they're going for the bigger map hit? Does that mean even more defensive play? Absurge maybe looking for drinks, or do you think they will potentially go for the Repentances? I'm really surprised by this map pick, potentially, Z.
Yeah, I feel like the map might backfire a little bit. Sea-Doo, Mez, and Trill, they will win the long game. So a large map will help them get to the long game. They can, abuse the rogue a lot more with Chains of Ice and things like that. So I'm with Sid on this. I want to see the same strategy that he was talking about, where they just go for CC on Sea-Doo and they try to take down Trill. By far more effective, but also by far a lot harder to execute. Trill is not exactly the easiest Demon Hunter to take down either. So I feel like it's a tough call to make, but they can maybe try their strategy once more. If it doesn't work, I think they should just default to something that we actually saw work a little bit.
Wow, 63% of you guys voting for the move in this series. That's absolutely incredible because Method Orange normally are on the upper side of these polls. The move, you guys really believe in them, that they're definitely up against it here in this series. They need to win 3 games against this incredibly tanky composition, and Method Orange always rotate their cooldowns well. They always play well defensively. It's going to be such an uphill battle.
No, it definitely is. And sometimes I feel like Twitch chat, they don't really vote for who they think is going to win. They vote for who they want to win. And there is a lot of fans of the move, including myself. I just happen to be a fan of Method Orange also, a big fan. So we'll have to see what the move can get done.
Which one are you the biggest fan of?
I competed with Cedo at BlizzCon, so I'm leaning that way.
Okay, fair enough.
At least
you picked a side. At least Vinricky picked a side today. He didn't stay on the fence, so I'm happy with that. Now I have to pick a side. Who am I the biggest fan of? I just like watching the move play. Purely like they might lose a lot, but even watching them lose is really fun.
They get style points no matter what happens.
No matter what, they get style points. So I'm definitely a move fan.
Oh, I am too. There's no doubt about that. Mez at 50% health. What are they going to be able to get done? They're going after WizK once again, and it's Trill trying to land the consistent mana rifts over onto Upsurge, and WizK has good backup. The Leap of Faith. He's able to grip Upsurge out of that stun, out of that mana rift, in order to preserve his mana a little bit longer. But it looks like Peekaboo, they are going to be focusing more on crowd control this game and putting the pressure onto Trill and Mez, and so far it's been working well.
So far it has been working well. The pressure is definitely there, but can they actually push them over? It's one thing to do damage, but you actually have to kill the player to end the game. So if they can't do enough damage to overcome the self-healing of the Demon Hunter and the Death Knight, they can't actually make them DEAD dead, then they can't win the game. So this is why I'm not sure if this strategy is going to work out, but they're going to play it out again here on Tolvaron Arena. Perhaps the bigger map does let Upsurge drink. Perhaps they can extend the game as a result of that strategy adaptation. This could be one factor that the move are taking into account here on game number 2. Important to note that this is an elimination series. If Method Orange win 3-0, they advance. The move go home in 4th, which has pretty big consequences for them overall in the season because they're not even in the top 4 right now. They're about 20 points off away from Cloud9, but Cloud9 is looking like they're on point again here for Summer Cup number 2, and they could easily take a first place finish, which would mean that they're even further ahead in the point standings. If the move have a good run, they might be able to pass Never Lucky in the future because Never Lucky had such a poor performance, but they won't be able to if they fall short here. They need to get all the way to the finals, but there's going to be Death Knight after Death Knight after Death Knight on that road to potentially taking this cup, and this is just the first Death Knight along that road.
Yeah, they managed to get the trinket from Trill, and that's a big victory there for the move. If they can get any crowd control over on Acedu, the next kidding shot on Trill could be devastating. Upsurge is positioned very far away. He might even be trying to sneak away for a drink, but Trill's easily able to shut that down, really highlighting and showcasing the Demon Hunter mobility in this matchup. He can move from one point on the map to another quite quickly, even crossing the map almost instantaneously. So that's the one major advantage of having that Demon Hunter and why it's so difficult for these healers to actually escape. Leap of Faith once again brings Upsurge out of that mana rift, prolonging his mana. And Upsurge at this point is relatively even on mana despite eating those mana rifts with Cedu. There's been big pressure. Full Hammer of Justice onto Cedu. Mez actually getting low. Is the move going to be able to do it? Mez trinkets out. Anti-Magic Shell. Icebound Fortitude. Trinket over onto Cedu. The move forcing out lots of defensive cooldowns here from Method Orange.
Yeah, the move pushing through, trying to close a game out here against Method Orange. Can they finally break through the Death Knight wall that has held them at bay and prevented their victory in any competition here for 2019, basically? They're trying to, with this last-ditch effort, they've changed up their build. They're going full aggression. Upsurge has brought out his Paladin to try and get some extra damage and crowd control into the fight as well. Cedu is almost out of mana, but Upsurge is falling short. Peekaboo in a full Hex, not able to help. Upsurge popping Avenging Wrath. His healing is going to be enhanced. His damage is going to be enhanced. They're going for the kill. Are they going to? They get it. They did it. Absolutely just smashed Trill in game number 2, and I'm going to eat my words because that strategy looked solid on game number 2.
I'm speechless. What do I say? The move should not win this matchup. We all said it. We all think the Method Orange is completely undefeatable, but somehow, some way, the move always seem to find a way, and they've had an absolutely stellar weekend here so far.
This has been the best tournament, I think, in a long time.
I love it.
And finally, I think, have they ever taken a map of Method Orange this entire year? I feel like they haven't. This is quite shocking, but they do take down the Demon Hunter here in the end. I'd much rather see that than, you know, going after Sea-Doo, doing all-ins on Sea-Doo. Instead, they blind up Sea-Doo, they force out his Trinket, and this push here, it netted them a lot of cooldowns here onto Mez. They also got Trill's Trinket a little bit earlier, and there is a blind on Sea-Doo. He Trinkets out of that one. There's a nice kidney shot, and here, honestly, it's just a misplay from Sea-Doo's end, or from Method Orange in general. They're kind of relying on that anti-magic zone. Maybe could have just traded out the Spirit Link Totem right here, but of course they committed the Ascendance and maybe didn't want to overlap too many cooldowns here at once. Sea-Doo goes for the Hex on the Peekaboo, gets out a couple of heals, and here I don't actually see, did Sea-Doo get silenced? Yes, he did. So there's a silence, there's a kidney shot there as well to follow that up, and then of course he was also horrored by removing that silence with his Stoneform ratio. So WizK, I mean, this guy is a king. He puts up his Vampiric Touch on Sea-Doo because you can remove it with the Dwarf ratio. Instead, he gets horrored, which lasts them long enough to get the kill.
I can't believe it. Like, they actually bursted that Demon Hunter down so quickly. It was the kidney shot, one silent stone form into the Sin and Punishment, and it was true punishment there for Method Orange. The move, for the first time I think that we've seen it, they've actually taken a game off of Method Orange here in the lower bracket. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've had an absolutely incredible start to the North American side of things. The move with a victory against Method Orange. Of course, this is a repeat of the grand finals at BlizzCon. The meta's changed a lot. The move have been struggling, but they're finding their footing here in Summer Cup 2, and they're looking better and better.
Yeah, they're hooking themselves in a victory here against the move, but now in Method Orange territory, this isn't going to be looking too good. This is a very difficult map to drink. And I feel like on that last map, that's what they were going to play for if they didn't find the kills so early. However, they have shown potential to find kills far before dampening, which is quite a feat of strength against this composition, which probably has the highest dampening record, that Demon Hunter Death Knight.
So we were talking a little bit about why the move locked in Ashermane's Fall, and I think a big reason for that is Absurge can force Trill to overextend, and then that's when Peekaboo and WizK, they can find opportunities where Trill is kind of separated from Sea-Doo, can't heal him up, and they can make swaps. So on this smaller map, that's not going to be the similar story. Sea-Doo right now in Hammer of Justice is their follow-up crowd control. There's no damage on Mez, there's no damage on Trill. Great start here for Method Orange. The move have to start developing some pressure and momentum, but they didn't have to force out any of their defensive cooldowns just yet. I mean, WizK did Trinket out to avoid that stun and try to free up Absurge from the Mana Rift with the Leap of Faith, and that's a consistent play we're going to have to see the move make if they want to hold on to Absurge's mana. Yeah,
I mean, they may even just kill Absurge. He's under so much fire right now here on game number 3. Holding on by a thread, Peekaboo stalls, but Trill gets the interrupt. Absurge even lower on health. Divine Favor comes in the nick of time. When are the move going to look to strike back? Because right now they are getting bullied around. They're going to need to look for crowd control soon if they want to start putting some pressure on the board. Do they go after Sea-Doo with no Gliders Medallion? Peekaboo sets up the kick. It could be a kick into stun potentially. Not going to go for the Hammer of Justice with the kidney shot already committed onto Trill. WizK's trying to develop some momentum here onto Mez and Trill, so that Peekaboo can then set up for the kill onto one of them moving forward. They silenced Sea-Doo. This was a scary moment in the last game, but it doesn't look like they have any follow-up. The crowd control changed so far from the move. I don't think they're on point as much as they were in the last game. Smoke Bomb gets dropped. Trill's going to Trinket out and dash to safety. However, that was not Vendetta, so the next stun, he won't have that Gliders Medallion to remove it and then use the Darkness, which could be an opening for the move.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can take advantage and capitalize on that situation. Trill definitely going to be vulnerable. He's the one that fell in the last game. WizK getting a bit low. Divine Favor heal coming in from Absurge. Playing really far away. Only really pushing in to get those Hammer of Justice stuns onto Sea-Doo. He gets gripped into a Fell Eruption, into a Mana Rift. Now Absurge is going to be slowly but surely losing mana. Method Orange, this is by far and away their favorite map. When playing the Demon Hunter Death Knight, it's just so easy for Trill to maneuver basically anywhere, hunt down the enemy healer, and Mana Rift him out of mana as quickly as possible. So the move right now, they are definitely on the clock. And I'm trying to think ahead. If the move does well on large maps, there's not, I guess they still have Tolvaron. That would be one of the only maps that I could see going in their favor, like we saw in Asherman.
It's game over after that, even if they win Tolvaron, because they're going to go to Blackrock Hold or Dalaran Sewers. So the move have to win on one of these small maps. This is going to be the most difficult, so maybe it's not the complete end of the world if they can't win on hook point, but it's pretty close to it. Sea-Doo gets swapped to, but Trill reverse magics to silence off. Now we see the Glaire's Maledict of Peekaboo. Peekaboo is actually just going all in. Sea-Doo's going to Ascendance to recover. Peekaboo at least nets a couple of extra cooldowns from continuing the chase. Now looking to set up on Trill, waiting until that Psychic Scream was fully ran through before going for the stun. Then Shadow Step interrupting Sea-Doo, reconnecting back to Trill. Mez is going to respect the Vendetta with the anti-magic shield. They grip Absurge into it. He's trying to retreat out of its defense as well as the attack onto himself, but he is basically out of mana at this time. There's more than enough defense remaining in the Method Orange cooldown bank, and so long as Trill nails the next 2 or 3 mana rifts in a row, I mean, it should be lights out for the move. Peekaboo and WizK need to do something quick if they want to find victory.
Trill's on the run, though. Peekaboo moving forward. He gets the cheap shot onto Sea-Doo. Kidney shot on Trill. Can they take him down? Trill trinkets. He drops Darkness. Sea-Doo into a Hammer of Justice. Method Orange backs against the wall at this point, trying to stay alive. Sea-Doo gets caught into some crowd control. Trill moves forward. He wants to start getting some damage rolling. They can't just play overly defensive, but right now the move, they have all the momentum, all the pressure. The one thing Method Orange has going for them is the fact that Absurge has a bit of mana, but this is a nice setup. Interrupt on Sea-Doo. Peekaboo single-handedly set that up with an interrupt on Sea-Doo, kidney shot onto Trill, and the move, they're miracle workers.
Peekaboo, what is that play, man? They should not have died there. Trinket was still available. Spiritling was still available. The step kick into the kidney shot. Beautiful rogue play. This guy keeps coming up with miracles for his team. And the move a 2-1 up in this series, Z.
Again, he does it twice, actually, that game. So he gets the kidney shot on Trill, and a step kick onto Sea-Doo, forces the Darkness, sorry. And then, of course, he follows it up again with a sheep shot as well there at the end, follows up the sheep shot with the Garrote. I mean, that was so nice. Here we're gonna see it once again. Trill, he's gonna drop pretty low here. He's gonna get kidney shot. He's gonna run away, and here comes the kidney. There's the silence, followed up by a cheap shot. Nice kidney shot there, followed up by the Garrote, forcing out the Trinket Darkness. Nice Hammer of Justice there from Absurge as well. On that Holy Paladin, throwing in the Maledict, making sure that Trill is taking so much damage here. And then, of course, Peekaboo getting the CDs back here. Trill honestly kiting Sea-Doo a little bit there before he's completely out of the woods. And then here again we see the step kidney, and Peekaboo actually trinketed out of a Fell Eruption stun there when it was like 1 second left. Kind of had Sea-Doo thinking that he could cast there when he couldn't, and Peekaboo, he pretty much single-handedly set that up, honestly.
Yeah, Peekaboo, we see you. We see you there, dude. That was absolutely incredible. I think that's got to be one of the single most, like, individually best plays that we've seen throughout this weekend. Obviously, there's, like, kind of a slower meta. It's a lot about playing the mana game, but that's why we love watching the move here, because the move really will create a play out of nowhere. Honestly, that game looked like it was going pretty well for them. They had good swaps over onto Trill, but it didn't look like it was about to end until Peekaboo happened. Now Method Orange, they need to figure something out. Do you think they should stick to this composition, Renruki? Because it seems like the move are getting better against it.
I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, we kind of thought that map was just going to go in favor of Method Orange. We were talking mid-game about how we had to see the move win on one of these smaller maps, or it would just kind of go back and forth, where they lose on the small map and then win on the large map, but they flipped that matchup on its head. Peekaboo, with beautiful MVP plays, manages to secure the kill onto Trill, and they're going to be winning that swing match, which was super important in a series like this. Now, for Method Orange, they have to be wondering, what are they going to do? Do they stick with the same composition? We know, basically, it seems like Method Orange has two compositions that they're completely relying on. It's the Demon Hunter Death Knight as well as the Frost Mage Windwalker. So is the Frost Mage Windwalker a composition that we think that they could run? Zico shaking his head no. What about something like Windwalker Death Knight?
Yeah,
would Windwalker Death Knight work? I feel like that's a solid option.
Okay, that could be something. I mean, that's one thing that we've actually, I've liked about Method Orange, you know, like they used to be somewhat one-dimensional, I would say, like mostly focusing on these cleaves, but they have put a lot of time into Sea-Doo on the Druid and Sam Aram on the Mage, and we also complimented them yesterday overall on how they were playing those classes. They were doing a good job last weekend as well with this Mage Druid Windwalker composition, but here, we're not necessarily sure it would be the move. Do they look out the Windwalker Death Knight? Because we were saying we haven't really seen them been playing it at all during summer.
No, I don't think Method Orange has put a lot of time into practicing that composition. I don't fully understand why. Maybe they don't want to spread themselves too thin, but overall it feels like a really solid composition. I mean, we did see Change My Mind play up against the Windwalker Death Knight with the Paladin, and maybe that's why they're afraid. Upsurge on the Paladin, there's that little bit of extra spice that can sort of throw Method Orange off. Having the Blessing of Protection for the Touch of Karma makes the Windwalker kind of a vulnerability, so maybe that's why Method Orange doesn't want to tag that in, but I don't know, maybe they have to switch something up.
Well, what about the rain from above? Because Trill usually runs the rain from above as well. It's an extra defense for him on that Demon Hunter. Potentially could keep him alive in some of those sticky situations.
I mean, it could.
Yeah, I don't think we really know. None of us were expecting to be in this situation, Zico. I mean, the move winning this matchup, it just seems so crazy to us because Method Orange's defense has been absolutely fantastic during spring. Last cup, obviously, they came second. That's about as good a performance as they could have hoped for. Maybe one better off of Never Lucky. These guys have been on the up and up, and we've been super impressed by that. But the move winning here is honestly a complete surprise to us, Sid.
I mean, it's a total surprise. That was the move's worst map. Worst matchup. I think all of us still think that the Demon Hunter Death Knight's likely favored. I actually can't believe that they won. They're going to go to Dalaran Sewers now with the same composition, which is the second best map, but this is still pretty tough for the move. But I just can't believe they're killing this composition before dampening. I feel like they deserve like a feat of strength. I don't know.
We don't see it very often, do we?
Has any team been able to kill the Demon Hunter Death Knight composition before dampening consistently?
That's a good question.
Maybe like a big mistake in the comp loses, but like they're hammering through cooldowns. It's not a massive mistake that's costing Method Orange the game. It's just they're just getting pushed over by the move. I've not seen a composition able to overwhelm this, and the move have found a way to play their composition in a way that is allowing them to overwhelm it, which is how their comp plays. If they can play the comp that they want to play the way they want to play it, nobody's beating the move.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Change My Mind, to draw parallels with Europe, they lost a DHDK Shaman running the RMD. They're probably watching this series thinking, we probably should have tried our Shadow Priest Rogue. But the move here, ladies and gentlemen, they're one game away from eliminating Method Orange from the tournament. Method Orange, though, will not go down easily. This DK composition still incredibly tanky, and I think there's still a very good chance Method Orange ties this up.
I mean, there's definitely a chance, but with the move playing, anything is possible. I mean, so many times we can look at a matchup and we can kind of predict the outcome. We all predicted that the move would lose with this composition against Method Orange, but I have to say, Peekaboo, WizK, and Upsurge, in particular Peekaboo, has just been playing out of his mind. He looks like he's fired up on a whole different level, playing basically the best we've ever seen him play. Now going for a setup here, full blind onto Sea-Doo. They're looking to get aggressive early on, but Method Orange with some solid pressure onto WizK.
All right, let's see what the move can get done here against Method Orange. They actually have them on match point. This is unbelievable. I don't think anyone could have predicted this. The move are up 2-1 against Method Orange after just being stomped out by Death Knights all year. They finally find a way to break through the wall, to break through their final barrier. If they can overcome this adversity, they could potentially take this entire cup. They show promise to make it all the way to the summer finals if that's the case. But WizK gets gripped out of line of sight with huge damage committed to him, falling very far behind and having to exchange a huge amount of cooldowns. Method Orange are not going to give this series up without a fight.
Absolutely not, but Upsurge does manage to top everyone off. It's the Avenging Wrath. Big heals available for the move, and they will stabilize in this matchup. Method Orange, Sea-Doo's mana is actually doing quite well at this point. We've seen in the previous matchups that he was actually on par with Upsurge at a few points in the game, but right now he does have a bit of a lead. WizK positioning very far away. Mez doesn't want to chase him, so he grips him down. Peekaboo drops the smoke bomb. Full kitty shot over onto Trill. What is Trill going to do? He sits the stun this time. He doesn't want to give away his trinket without the move committing some sort of additional offense. Smoke bomb just isn't enough to take him down at this point in the game. So I think Trill with a heads up play there, making sure he doesn't overreact, because if you overreact to the move, they will capitalize on it and they will pounce.
All right, let's see what they can get done here. Mana is looking pretty solid so far for Upsurge. Vendetta's coming up pretty soon. Peekaboo setting up that Shadow Step kick that secured him the game on hook point. Potentially that move could get the move a victory here and advance them in the lower bracket, although it's likely that they will be meeting another Death Knight team, that in the boys, and then Cloud9, the spring champions. There's some pretty big teams they have to get through. And right now they've got to beat the reigning BlizzCon champions, so this is going to be quite a day for the move, but they are starting off strong. They've already got good pressure onto Mez, and this composition is usually one that you can't even dent before dampening, and the move are just crushing it. Sea-Doo is going to trinket out of blind. Peekaboo looked to try and punish it, but wasn't able to, but at least gets the trinket out of the way. Now coming back to support the team, stunning Trill, going for a Gladiator's Maledict play. Multiple Gladiator's Maledicts going to be absorbing a lot of heals, but unlikely that he goes down. Sea-Doo with that Earthen Wall Totem activated, reducing all of the damage. Trill activating that I-Beam, going for a push here onto WizK, but he's not going to be denting him. Trill instead realizing he needs to go for mana rifts, but he's very far away. He's mind controlled. Absterge might be able to get a drink off the back of this mind control. Trill needs to get over there as soon as possible. How much mana? Not too much for Absterge, but at least it's still even at this point for the move. And fortunately, even if they lose this game, they can go to their own territory. They can go to Tolvaron. They can play the big map and then be able to get drinks and have a late game advantage potentially against Method Orange. Everything right now is looking good for the move.
Kitty shot on a Trill. Is there any damage? Mez decides to just trade out the anti-magic zone, a fair trade with Vendetta. I think that's a nice standard trade. Trill's being a little bit less aggressive with the mana rifts this game. I guess he doesn't want to overextend, but does manage to get the double stun. Chaos Nova onto Peekaboo, onto Absterge, into a mana rift. Absterge gets burned out of a little bit of mana. Now Peekaboo turning his attention on the Sea-Doo, looking for some pressure. Peekaboo just all over the map. This is something we consistently see from the move. They're always keeping their target kind of a secret in this matchup. Main target has been Trill, of course, but Peekaboo making sure he's keeping Sea-Doo guessing by making him an option for a later swap as well. He doesn't have his trinket. He could be vulnerable.
All right, let's see what they can get done here. Can the move close it out here against Method Orange on their map pick? That would be an impressive feat. Mez bursted down below half health. What cooldowns are they going to trade? He's trying to get away without making a trade. Bit of a greedy decision here. He's very low on health, but at the pillar, he's going to recover. Healing Tide Totem plopped down by Sea-Doo, enhancing a lot of heals towards Mez, although the pressure is still there. This is a surprising amount of damage. Peekaboo's going to switch targets. He's going after Sea-Doo. Absterge moves in to add a bit of extra damage to the mix. Trill is trying to get back there to support. Sea-Doo is still crowd controlled, holding out now, and Ghost Wolf likely to be all right. Peekaboo and Absterge both stunned up. Absterge eating a mana rift from Trill, but certainly not low enough on mana at this point to say that Method Orange are guaranteed victory. Sea-Doo silenced on his trinket. Peekaboo still going after Sea-Doo while WizK tries to get pressure, but he's the one being forced back. Once again, Method Orange refusing to give up. They're going to be battling this out to the bitter end. WizK very low on health. Absterge going to use Blessing of Sacrifice. Cooldowns are starting to overlap for the move. Things are starting to snowball out of their control. They need to do something quick.
Yeah, Trill trying to get some damage rolling over onto Peekaboo. A little bit of counter pressure here. Fell Eruption on Absterge. Can he land the Mana Rift? Another one consistently lands onto Absterge. And the move, they're going to be running out of time. If Trill can keep this up, it's going to be scary, but a silence onto Sea-Doo with a cheap shot onto Trill, into a kidney shot. Trill could be in a little bit of trouble. Earthen Wall Totem looking to deny the kill from the move. Heads up play there by Sea-Doo. Keeps Trill alive. Stun now over onto WizK. He's looking to overextend Mez and Trill once again. WizK always positioning far away from Sea-Doo, so Sea-Doo either has to kite into the open or Mez and Trill have to overextend.
All right, WizK, what are you going to do? No dispersion for a minute. Are you going to push forward for the kill, dampening at 5%? They're going after Trill, trying to get that trinket from him. Are they going to get it? They get the anti-magic zone, but it's for the Vendetta. More than a fair trade. Perhaps they can keep pushing through. Peekaboo amplifying some damage onto 3 members. Triple Psychic Scream out from WizK onto the whole team. Good pressure on Trill. It's match point for the move. If they can hold on a little bit longer, they've got good momentum. Sea-Doo is silenced. He's on the run with Trill. They switch targets to Mez. Mez is overextended. They drop the smoke bomb. They're trying to cut through the Icebound Fortitude. How are they killing Mez and Trill on this composition so early? I've never seen this type of pressure against this composition. WizK, though, on the back foot. May need to use that Void Shift. He gets gripped out of line of sight. Absterge just trying to clutch out heals, but he doesn't have many answers. He's in a full Hex. He can't heal while he's Hexed. He's going to Divine Shield to break the Hex. He's going to trade that precious defensive cooldown to save WizK. They're against the wall now. The move don't have anything left in terms of defense.
Yeah, WizK is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's got around 10 seconds left on his dispersion, 3 seconds left on the fade, and that's going to be enough for WizK to survive. Mez and Trill, they're going after Absterge. I don't know if this is a mistake. Peekaboo gets the kidney shot over onto Mez. There's no Icebound Fortitude. Are they going to take him down? Do they have the damage? Anti-Magic Shell trades out. Sea-Doo drops the Tremor Totem on that Psychic Scream coming in from WizK. Very nicely done, freeing him as well as Trill from a fear. And now Trill and Mez, they can get aggressive. All 3 members of the move. This is spiraling out of control. Method Orange, they smell blood in the water. They want to close out this game, but a kidney shot on Mez denies, and now Mez is still the one that could be in trouble. Absurge, how are you going to do this? You have to hold on. Whiskey has the void shift, but it's not going to do anything. Everyone's just so low. The health exchange isn't going to really help them that much.
They have to kill him in the next stun. If they don't kill Mez in the next stun, they are DONE done. Can they do it? The move there on match points. They have an opening if they can take it here. When that Earthen Wall's defense is faded, if they cross crowd control. 2 members are crowd controlled. CD tries to break out. He gets shadow step. Now they're going to do it. He's going to go down.
way.
The move have done it. The move have defeated the reigning BlizzCon champions, Method Orange. The move have made it past the top 4 finally.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of the move, let it be known in chat, because they've accomplished an extraordinary feat here, defeating Method Orange, who came second last cup, the defending BlizzCon champions. They have eliminated them here from Summer Cup 2. Absolutely incredible gameplay coming in from Whiskey, Peekaboo, and Absturge. All 3 of them stellar in this series. And I mean, Method Orange, I didn't even think they were playing badly. The move are just, they're on some other level right now, Z.
Well, it seems that the strategy that they were talking to you about was working. Maybe we shouldn't have judged it after that first game. It seemed very potent. They were playing around that reverse magic beautifully. And I also like that they realized in this particular game they have no openings on Trill. Every time Trill ran, they just shifted their aggression over onto Mez instead. And it paid out for them. They got the kidney shots on the Mez. They forced out his trinket. And as you can see on Absturge's bar at the top left of your screen, there is not many buttons available there and not much mana available there either. And of course, they find that one last opening. They wait patiently for that Earthen Wall totem. They reapply their dots. They reapply their bleeds. Peekaboo is in a situation where he's just constantly between Sea-Doo and Mez right there. You can see he's going for that kick, always ready, hovering over it. And then of course the silence gets reverse magicked by Whiskey. Immediately Absturge comes in with the MVP Hodge, and they manage to take Mez down through that darkness. Beautiful stuff from the move.
I must admit, we have a computer open on this desk where we can see the chat, and it exploded when they got the kill onto
It's
Mez.
still going.
We can see that it's still going. It's still going. It's absolutely incredible. None of us can believe it, but the move have made it through. I need a bracket or something so I can actually see that this is the case. It has been confirmed. The move 3-1 against Method Orange. Absolutely incredible stuff. We'll be seeing them again in later in the day, of course, since they've made it through to this top 3. That is also huge for this team, which without a qualification for the summer finals would stand 0 chance of making it back to BlizzCon this year. They need this result. They need to do well in the summer season, but whether they'll go further is up to the boys in Cloud9, because both of these teams have been so good this cup.